So actually, in this country, over thousands of years,
Right.
family businesses and families, for that matter, have worked like an institution.
Oh yeah, yeah,
To
yeah. That's true.
transmit knowledge to the next generation.
Right, right, yeah.
It might be craftsmanship or business or whatever it is. Family, when
Right.
there was scarcity of big universities, big colleges, and all
Hmm.
that, families did that job. So so right now in family business arena,
Hmm.
do you think in a general scenario in India, so do you think that the skills are being transmitted in a right way? What can be done to make it better? Are parents encouraging people, their kids, to do higher education, go abroad, settle there, or they're teaching them the skills of running the business? So what do you think is the atmosphere right now?
Okay. See, I'll tell you. One thing that I've observed in many family businesses, and I've observed this very often now, and I don't know what's the reason behind this, but most of the family business third generation leaders or maybe second generation leaders, either they don't study at all, right? They don't really have a lot of interest in education, right? Uh, and they just take the education for granted,
Mhm.
and then they expect that I will simply finish my BCom or finish any kind of graduation and join my family business, and things will be smooth for my entire life.
Mhm.
So the clear answer is that is not going to happen, right?
Right.
For a very simple reason that when your father started a business or when your grandfather started a business, when was this? 1950s, 1970s, 1980s. The times were different, right? And education maybe was not that advanced. Today, education has been democratized. Why? Thanks to the online media that we have. You can probably go ahead and buy any course online. You can watch a lot of things on YouTube and get knowledge for yourself.
Right.
What has happened is that probably if you are a family business leader, say 20, 25 years of age, there is going to be another person, right, who probably is more educated, who has taken his education seriously, and now
Yeah.
he is hungry to become a startup founder. And you won't know what will hit you, right? And that startup founder will probably surpass you. In such a situation, you will not be able to, manage your family business. That is
Right.
point number one. Point number two is that even if your father or your grandfather has, giving you the initial introduction to the business, a lot of their experience is very helpful. I totally agree.
Mhm.
But your own education will eventually help you with what the future challenges that they have not yet faced.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, it's almost like expecting that whatever my father teaches me, whatever my grandfather teaches me, it's absolutely valuable.
Right.
But have they seen what is going to happen 5 years now
Right.
down the line, 10 years down the line? No, right? Even I have not seen that. But the best I can do is to keep on upgrading my skills, is to keep on learning, is to have my education robust, is to have my experiences robust, so that I can tackle those challenges head on, even after they have given me the education, right? Given
Right.
me those, passed on those skills to me. But you know what happens? I think now, because of, I'll tell you, there is one thing which is very unique to family businesses.
Mhm.
Family businesses, though they will pass on the skills to you and you will get some experiences, but there are some emotional issues in family businesses which are not there in startups, right?
Right.
And I'll tell you how. Imagine that you probably have a tussle with your father or you have a tussle with your brother, right? Which is very common. It is
Right.
very
Right.
common in every family, right? It is not
Right.
something to be looked down upon. A tussle is very common,
Right.
right? Now imagine that when you go back to your office or when you go back to the place of work, you see the same person that you fought with some time back, right? Now it's
Right.
very difficult to do work with them,
Yes.
right? So my understanding is that only those family businesses which are emotionally well connected, emotionally happy with each other, when they respect each other, those family businesses make it very easy for themselves to probably grow in the large run. And you know what happens with those family businesses where the emotions are not right, where the fights are a lot, and where the bonds are weak? What
Mhm.
happens is that even if these businesses pass on the skills to their kids,
Mhm.
even if these family business leaders ensure that their kids get the best education, they will send them to US, they will send them to London. What will
Right.
happen is they will take up jobs there and not come back,
Right. Right.
right? The
Yeah.
reason is because now that comfort is probably more attractive
Yes.
than what skills my father is teaching me. And
Yes.
that is happening because we are not emotionally connected to that business and we are not emotionally connected to our parents, right?
Right.
So if your bonds are weak, that education will eventually take the turn of a job,
Right.
right? But if your family relations are very strong, you know what will happen? That education will eventually be reinvested back into the business,
Yeah. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I think this is a trend that I'm seeing. So earlier it used to be true that you get your skills from your father, you get your skills from your grandfather,
Right.
and you apply to the business that worked for a very long time.
Yes.
But now I'm seeing that as in when the education is probably going ahead, and if a family already has certain emotional issues,
Mhm.
then I think that is where the break happens. That is where the third generation is not interested in the family business. They've probably moved somewhere and they're doing their own work.
Yes.
and that is where the family business will either fall down on its own or they will be sold to liquidate.
Yeah.
Right, and they will be forced to liquidate. I mean, they will not have a lot of options there, and I think this is a point which family businesses don't realize they are in. So they have to
Right.
first be real. They have to first realize that yes, we are in this problem.
Yeah.
And I think this is something that I'm observing, which is happening with a lot of family businesses.
Right.
I'm not generalizing, but this is happening with a lot of them.
It's true. That's true.
Yeah.